All right, good afternoon, guys. First of all, just proud of our guys going down the road and getting a big win Saturday down in Orlando. And, I don't think we played our greatest game. Obviously, I think offensively we turned the ball over a couple times early in the game, but our defense kept us in by creating some turnovers, which I thought was awesome. And then I thought our guys just stuck to it and finished out the game in the fourth quarter. It was great to see. We did do some really good things. I think we had 5 sacks in the game. Defensively, we were, putting ourselves in some great positions to get to the quarterback. I thought Corleone had some great push up front again. I think the last 2 games has played really well. I thought, the thing that was great as well is where Sorsby didn't play his best in the first half, but I thought he battled back for the second half, and I think it was 12 for 13 in the second half passing the football, which was great. We didn't run the ball great, but Central Florida does a good job stopping the run. I think we got to get better there. That'll certainly help our offense. And then, I think in the special teams, I thought we were very, very solid in the special teams as well, other than the kicks. But besides that, the covering, Fletch hit it one on the 1 yard line, which was awesome part of the game. It's a huge part of the game to be able to get that. And then because I think we went 3 and out, we got the ball back. That's when we went and scored. So, it was huge there. And, it sets us up for a great opportunity this weekend. A team that's 5-1 coming in, homecoming here at the 7th game of the season. Both of us competing for a Big 12 championship. And, we're excited about it. This is what we all signed up for in the Big 12, and to be able to host teams like this and to come in here and have a packed house, a great environment for college football. So, we're excited about hosting this team. We know this team has played some great football so far. Huge win for them against Utah last Friday night. They rely on their running back. He is one of the best running backs in the country. Very, very hard runner, old school, hard-nosed runner. Refuses to go down. He's, if you like running backs, he's fun to watch. There's no question about it. He's going to try to run right through you and make you like it. Quarterback extends plays. He's got some legs on him. He can run, and he's throwing the ball very well the last few weeks also. So defensively, stingy defense. They play hard and turn the film on. It really shows up. They get after the quarterback as well, and I think that's why they've been able to win a lot of these games. They run the football and play great defense. So great opportunity, I think, for us this weekend. We're looking forward to it.
Third game in a row against a back that's top 10 nationally in yards. But when you look at the tape, do they remind you maybe a little of Texas Tech in that they want to run, but their passing game, it feels like, has come, really, really far from the beginning of the season?
Yeah, I think so. I think it's a little different in Texas Tech. I feel like these guys do want to run the football, and but they want to control the clock a little bit more, I think, than maybe Texas Tech, where they're spreading it out, going fast, and it's all over the place, a little bit more wide open. I think these guys are just going to line up and hand the ball to that running back and make you like it. I think that's a little bit different mentality for them. But you mentioned, their passing game has really, really done some good things the last few weeks, and they're throwing and catching at a high level. And I think he threw 4 touchdown passes a couple weeks ago. So it's you certainly got to be able to defend everything when you're playing this team. But I do think they want to be a physical team. They want to just run the football and make you like it.
Dillingham said yesterday that he had studied the 3-3-5 with Coach Veit a few years back. Is that one of those situations where you go to Tyson and say, I hope you didn't tell him too much?
Well, at the end of the day, you're going to put your defense out there. They're going to put their offense out there, and it comes down to fundamentals. You still got to block. We still got to tackle. You got to line up right. You got to do all the fundamental things that you have to do, no matter what defense you play, if it's a 3-down or 4-down or, whatever it may be. Your guys have to execute, and I think that's one of the things we did so much better in this game. When you think about missed assignments, we cut those things by 30 in their missed assignments on defense, and it was a much better defensive game for us and compared to the Texas Tech game. And so really that's what it's going to come down to. It's the least amount of mistakes and being where you're supposed to be.
You guys took a lot of FCS guys out of the portal in this last cycle. One of those guys, Jake Golday, had a really big game. What's it kind of like to see those guys who, I don't want to say you took a bet on or took a gamble on, but them start to kind of develop into players that can compete in the Big 12?
Yeah, I mean, Golday, we thought right from the start if we can get him, it was a steal, from what we saw on film. And that's been true, since we've got him. I mean, since he came in here, he had great measurables. He can really, really run. And now he's coming to his own in our defense now. And he's really figuring it out, and he's getting better and better each and every week. Had some big plays in the Texas Tech game, obviously some big plays in the Central Florida game, and I think he's a guy that's going to continue to get better and better and better. He's an outstanding football player that is just now reaching the surface. I mean, I think he's got a lot more where this is coming from. So I'm excited he's on our team. I mean, he's going to make plays each and every week, and and I think several of our linebackers are. I mean, I think that's a good thing about our defense is that we're able to play several linebackers, and those like Goldie doesn't have to go out there and play 65, 70 snaps. I mean, he can play, a good number of snaps, but still stay fresh when you need him in the second quarter and fourth quarter.
Coach, you've had to prepare for Taj Brooks and then R.J. Harvey, now Cam Scottaboo. How much has that preparation helped with knowing what to expect heading into Saturday?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's going to help us because those guys are hard to tackle, number one. I mean, with your preparation, you're going to, being able to fit and be where you're supposed to be, but actually physically trying to tackle them, a back like Texas Tech and a guy like Harvey that are so strong but yet powerful and also fast. I mean, and this is a little bit different style runner, I think. I mean, he's, he plays with great acceleration and just tenacity. I think whereas like a Harvey can make you miss and even Brooks at Texas Tech can make you miss with his stick, but I think this one, he's going to run through. It was making the rounds after the game, Utah game, when he had the 50-yard run, just an inside zone play, but broke about 4 tackles, kept his balance. He got great contact balance, and then just went and scored a touchdown. It was a huge play in the game when they took the lead there at the end of the third quarter. So, he's a guy where, you're going to have to get a lot of hats to the ball. First guy may not bring him down, but then the next guy's got to be able to get there to bring him down. But I do think playing these other backs has really helped that. I think we learned a lot at the Texas Tech game that helped us in the Central Florida game, and hopefully it carries to this game.
Coach Kenny Dillingham is the youngest college football coach in all of college football. Just talk about your impressions there and the job he has done over the first 2 years. Yeah,
good for him, man. He's got a great head start on this thing, being a head coach. He's climbed the ladder very quickly. And done a really nice job. He's, what you look at their teams is number one, they play hard, and that's a sign of coaching. I mean, it tells you in their training and what they're doing and how they prepare their guys. They're getting a lot out of their guys, and I think that's one thing. And I think the other thing is he's got an identity on this football team, and it's toughness, and it's running the football. It's the teams know what's coming, and yet they still do it. And then defensively, being able to really play hard and play fast and to cause havoc. It's a havoc-causing defense, and I think, it's a good identity he's on his team, and they've won close games. That's another sign. I mean, I think, they've had, 4 or 5 games where it's come down to right there at the end, and they've been able to pull them out and win it. That's another sign of the belief that the guys have in what they're doing. And so he's done a really nice job.
Big 12 has all sorts of time zones. You're going to play a 10-15 game in Colorado. This week, I know you're a fan anyway, but
yeah.
If there ever was a week for a noon kickoff, this is a pretty ideal one, wouldn't you think?
Yeah, I mean, I think, we've mentioned this before. I like playing a noon game just because you got some time in the evening to relax a little bit. Yeah, I mean, it's one of these things where, you're playing at noon this week, and you mentioned it next week we're at 10:15. I mean, that's 10 and a half hour difference, on the same day. It's in this league, you're going to get a lot of that, particularly when you're playing East Coast, West Coast, with the travel. It's part of it. It's part of college football now. We're seeing it in the ACC. We're seeing it in the Big Ten. I know people have written about it where, teams going west or going east. And it's something I think as coaches we have to just figure out, okay, what time are we playing, and now figure out the best way to schedule this thing out with your routine and not trying to change the routine too much. And I think at the end of the day, because you want your guys to be at optimal, ready to play at whatever time that may be. Certainly for us, I mean, we like playing at noon. We played our first 4 games right around the noon hour and played well. So, hopefully this week it's going to be the same for us. I know fans would probably like some late games. I mean, I've heard the comments. We used to be nip at night, now we're nip at noon. I mean, I think whatever the fans to show up, and I know homecoming's this weekend, so we'll get a lot of fans here, and it's a huge game for us, right? I mean, so I think we're going to have a packed house, and and it'll be a great afternoon for college football.
Chad and Alex.
Where do you think the defensive line is at now that they've recovered from some injuries and you're, I wouldn't say healthy, but
Yeah.
you've gotten that group back on track? It feels like they're trending in a positive direction. You're second in the conference in sacks
Yeah.
for a team that a lot of people say can't get after the quarterback.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, and 40 tackles for loss. I mean, we've been able to cause some havoc there from the D-line, and I do think that we mentioned Dante. Dante's really come on the last 2 or 3 games. I think got himself played into shape a little bit. That obviously helps. When you get great push up the middle, and now that allows our 2 defensive ends to be able to do some other things because now the running back or quarterback gets off the spot that he likes to be on. I think they're coming along good. I think we'll get Cam. Hopefully Cam Rutherford will be back this week. He was out there Sunday. And you're right. I mean, we've had some injuries there, and we've had to find some guys. I think the luxury of that is early in the year we played a lot of guys, and so now I feel like, okay, they've all got some time under their belt, and they feel comfortable about going out there and making plays. And Saturday I thought they played really well. One of their best games up front. We talk about assignments and where you're supposed to be and where you're supposed to fit. They did an outstanding job of that. We lost contain a couple of times on some third downs when the quarterback got out, but other than that, I thought we played really good up front, and hopefully we're going to be at the point now in the stage of the season where we're playing some great football up front.
First 3 games, you guys rushed for over 200 yards a game. Last 3, it's down to 125. What do you see defenses doing to kind of stymie the running game a little bit, and how do you guys plan to counter what they're doing to get that average back up to where you want it to
Yeah, I
be?
mean, I think we've played some solid run defenses the last couple of games. Texas Tech, Central Florida, and then we're going to play another one this week. I mean, I think sometimes you got to give credit to the teams you're playing. I think, Central Florida was one of the top rush defenses in the country. As we went in there last week, and Arizona State's given up about 100 yards rushing this week. So I mean, they're pretty good. I mean, you got to find ways to run it. I think we lost Corey basically most of the game in the Texas Tech game. We lost DT. DT has not played the last few games at left guard. We're hoping to have him back this week. He practiced yesterday as well. So I think if we get a little bit more healthy, I think that's going to help the running game as well also. And it certainly helps our offense if we can get the running game going. There's no question about it. It's going to help our pass game. We got to find ways to do that. And but I do think the health of our guys up front and Corey obviously helps the production.
Scott and Jeremy. Jeremy, you go.
Last year, Coach, obviously didn't go the way you wanted it to in year 1. And any coach, when you're trying to get something going, you have to have kind of that big picture mindset. What did you rely on to just believe and know that things were going to turn as they are turning this year?
Yeah, I mean, I went through this at App State when we took over that program. It was very similar in what we took over. And, there's so much change, I think, nowadays when you think about NIL and the portal and all that stuff. So when you take over here, and we've already talked about all that, how, you also have to come in and find out about what kind of people that you want to have in your program. And I think that's the huge thing for us. Really, ironically, it's the same thing with Arizona State. We brought in 47 newcomers. They brought in 46. And they were a team that won 3 last year as well. So it's about getting the kind of players that you want to get in your program. And then it's about the process. It's about sticking to the process and sticking with it throughout the all season, the summer, and into the season. And our guys are coming around. They're believing, and they're playing like they should be playing. They're playing hard. They're playing smart. They're playing disciplined football, and it gives you a chance to win. It doesn't guarantee any wins, but it gives you a chance to win. And then bringing in some players like we've brought in that have huge impacts on our team. And you guys mentioned it. I mean, some of them are from smaller schools, but they're outstanding players and they got great hearts. And I think so many people look at a ranking or the stars and all this and that. But to me, the number one thing that you can recruit is heart. And it's hard to find that. It's hard to identify that. But I think once you find those type of people, then they give you a chance to win because of what they do every single day. Everybody sees the 12 opportunities on Saturdays, but it's all the other things that are happening throughout the other days and how they carry themselves and how they do things outside of football that I think give you a great opportunity and chance to win. And that's where we're headed. And that's it takes time. That stuff just doesn't happen overnight.
Hawks drilled a 51-yarder, but missed an extra point.
Yeah.
And another one. Is it still Hawks? Is it a competition, or where are you at on that?
Yeah, we're always competing at every position for sure. I think it's very unfortunate that we've missed 3 field goals right before the half in 3 different games. Our offense did a great job of getting down, and we hadn't knocked them down. We got to be able to do those type things, and those kickers have one job, is to make the kicks. So yeah, we'll compete this week, and see where this thing goes, but. But he's certainly got the ability, right? He's knocked down a 51-yarder, a 55-yarder. He's got the leg to do it. I think sometimes on some of those short ones, it's a little bit, I don't know if it's relaxed or, a little bit more nonchalant as opposed to getting up there and swinging your leg and hitting it. When he does that, it goes through. It's a great kick. So it's just about a matter of just getting that confidence to know that you swing this leg hard, the ball is going to go in.
Off an earlier question, but how concerning is the dip in the running numbers, and do you think it's sustainable to kind of put the offense on Brendan Sorsby's arm going forward?
Well, I certainly believe that you have to, run an offense to the strength of your players, and if you can throw the ball, then throw it. Here's the other thing too: if a team is putting 8 and 9 guys in the box, and you can throw it, why would you not throw it? And I think so that's where we're at. I feel like last year, we didn't have as much confidence in the passing game, so we feel like we had to force the run, so we were able to run the football a little bit better. But our overall numbers were not great, because we didn't throw the ball great. I think, if teams are loading the box up and putting a lot of guys in the box, then we have to be able to throw the football. And I go back and look at that film, we probably should have thrown it more. Now if you do that, your running numbers are going to be a little bit less. And so I think there's a give and take there. But ultimately, we want to score touchdowns. We want to win the game. I don't care if we run it every play or pass it every play. So I don't really care about putting it on the back of any one particular player. We want to try to, whatever the defense gives us, we want to try to take that. We just want to move the ball. I don't really care how we move it. I don't care who touches it, as long as they get first downs and we score touchdowns. So as coaches, we're kind of looking back and trying to figure all that out. Like, what gives us the best chance to move the football? Is it running, throwing, whatever that is? We'll try to do.
Receivers, I know Tyron was out. Some talk about Turner maybe redshirting.
Yeah, Tyron is still out. He's had a hamstring injury he's been dealing with for some time now. AT, we're looking at trying to redshirt AT if we can early in the season. We're not playing as many snaps, and I look at it the same way I look at it like for Chance. If you're not playing a whole lot of snaps and you have a red shirt, then let's try to get your red shirt year. But AT's been out practicing, done a great job for us at practice. Chance as well. We took Chance on this trip this past week. We give out a juice mob for the game, meaning who's on the sideline giving the most energy. He won it. Chance did an outstanding job this weekend, cheering his guys on and getting us going. But we're still trying to redshirt Chance, just because, if we can stay healthy at the running back position, which we were much better this week. So we just try to do right by the guys. That's the way I see it. So, but Tyron's a guy. We'll see if he can get healthy this week. We're, still kind of waiting to see him over with him.
You're dealing with backs at this level and offenses that like to run the RPO. Is there a give and take where you say, look, don't lose the back? Like, if the quarterback gets out the back door for a couple yards, we can live with that, but we don't want Taj Brooks going for 170 ultimately.
Yeah, it's so hard. It's such a fine line, right? Do you load up just to stop the running back, and then now, the quarterback may get loose, and he could have a big game. So there's a real fine line there. So you obviously want to try to defend it all and keep everything in front. But what is the thing that would hurt you the most? I think that's what you want to take away. And so as you're looking at that, and sometimes it depends on down and distance, field position, where you're at, all those type things. Is it in the red zone? Is it backed up? And now what do we really want to defend, and what do we want to give them? I think that's really what it comes down to. So that's the cat and mouse game that you play all game long. But ultimately, we know going in this, we have to slow this running back down. We know that. Just like last week, we knew we had to slow the running game down. I thought we did a good enough job to slow it down and ultimately, hold them to 13 points. And that's really the bottom line, is to not let them get in the end zone and have to make them settle for field goals. I mean, that gives you the best chance to win.
Styles make games, and you played a lot of different styles so far this season. Arizona wants to kind of grind it out. How important is it to maybe on both sides of the ball not to press, especially on the offensive side of the ball where you might not get as many touches as the normal game?
Yeah, it's a good point. Both of these teams, we're two of the top teams as far as time of possession, occupying the ball. And what that does is limit possessions, to your point. So you feel like, man, we're not going to have many possessions. We really need to go get some points right now. You still have to take what the defense gives you. You still, you can't press too much. One of the things I think a critical stat this coming game is obviously this every week, but it's the turnover margin. They've been a little bit better than us in the turnover. I think they're +5 on the season so far. And in these close games they've been playing, that gives them the edge. And so, we obviously got to be able to take care of the ball and not press too much to try to fit balls into tight windows and those type things. Take what they give us, and hopefully we're able to hit some big plays and go down and get some touchdowns. I think there's certainly going to be some opportunities out there. We got to be able to make the most of those.
Any other questions for Coach? Thank you, sir.
Thank you, guys.
Had a pretty solid game. How did it feel to get a road win against a team that's a rival to the UC?
Yeah, it felt great. Coming off a bye week, we kind of struggled a little bit offensively. So I was able to. Wasn't the most good-looking and prettiest win, but definitely big time that we were able to go down there at their spot and steal a win from them. So it was big.
We seem to have a pretty good connection right now. How often do you just go to him and say, just feed me the ball, dude?
There's a couple of times in practice where, depending on the look and what it is, I might be just like, hey, just give me a chance. But he's got a lot of things going on. I'm sure the last thing he wants to hear is me just say, throw me the ball. But just try to get open for him so he does throw me the ball, but I'm not really doing that.
Versatility is big in the overall picture, trying to move on to the next level, future, all that stuff. Have you officially added fullback to your resume? Because you're motioning into the backfield and being the lead blocker quite a bit here lately.
Yeah. Had a couple plays this past weekend and throughout the season where I come in the backfield and inserting up on a backer. I don't mind doing that stuff. They like the matchup on me on a little backer, so it works out. But, yeah, I guess I'm playing a little bit of fullback too.
You carried a football in a game.
Took a handoff?
Right.
Actually at running back, probably grade school, but I had one my senior year at Elder when I caught it was an end around, but I had the option to throw it, but the guy wasn't open, so I ended up just running with it. But it's been a long time.
People always talk about on the broadcast how you only had 4 catches coming into the season, and you're starting to put up consistent numbers to become one of the better tight ends in the conference. What's it kind of mean to you, and how gratifying is it to see just the results of all your hard work, and the first time you're in a big role in a team, you're starting to have success?
Yeah, it's been great. It's finally come full circle for me. It's been a long road to get here, and I couldn't be happier where I am and the guys I'm playing with and the coaches I'm playing for, and especially being back home adds a little bit more extra special to it. But it's been great. Just glad to be a part of the team and just try to go out there and help them win some games.
Coach likes noon kickoffs. What do you think of them?
I like them as well. Just get up and sometimes I don't really like night games. It's a long kind of drug out day, but I kind of like getting up and going, so they're cool.
Can you tell when you start to really find a rhythm? The first half was a little bit of a struggle, but then you come out in the second, I believe from the middle of the third to the middle of the fourth, you complete 10 straight passes, 6 first downs. Does it just start to click in your head that I'm seeing it clear now?
Yeah, and I think even in the first half, I thought I was seeing it clear. Obviously, it just wasn't coming off my hand as well as I would have liked it to. Obviously, the couple of picks, just I think if I put a better ball on them or put it out there on the first one, then it could be a catch. So I still thought I was seeing everything well, but just wasn't coming out how I wanted it to. But I can continue to improve off that. But definitely once I get into a bit of a rhythm, you can kind of always tell.
Room, so watch what you say. But what kind of a weapon is Mr. Breuer over there for you?
Well, he's a big guy, so you can pretty much put it wherever, and he's going to come down with it. So, and he can also get a lot of yards after the catch and make some guys miss. So he's a very big help to our offense and does a lot of good things for us.
Coach said after the game he came up to you and asked you, like, what's working. How much confidence does that give you that, as a play caller, he's coming to you and saying, what are you seeing, and let's do more of that?
Yeah, it gives me a lot of confidence. Obviously, shows that he trusts me, and obviously I trust him. I always tell him, whatever you like here, I'm more than willing to run it. So, I like that we have that connection now, and hopefully we can continue to grow and build that connection and just continue to lean on each other with what we're both seeing and just help build each other that way.
Johnson and Joe Royer combined for 72 yards after the catch in this past game. With teams starting to key in on X more, how important is that to the offense?
Yeah, it's huge for the offense, especially, Jamoy also got involved, and then just a couple other guys just making things happen after the catch. Like I always say, I always just try to get the ball in their hands and, let them go make some plays for me, because that's what they do. We got a lot of playmakers that can extend plays after they get the ball, so we just got to continue to find ways to get the ball all spread around.
Designed run play where it kind of looks like a half handoff to Corey, who kind of goes in front of you, but it doesn't look like Corey's actually an option for the whole play. Is that like the design of the play? Is that basically a QB run, or is that a zone read? Because sometimes it looks kind of
Yeah, essentially it's just a QB run. Obviously, he's blocking. And, he did a great job. Obviously, there's really nothing to read other than, I'm just trying to get another lead blocker in there. And, obviously he does a great job pretty much any time that we run it. So, especially on that touchdown, it was pretty easy to get in there.
In the game, you were able to turn some yards out, and it looked like Corey was going to maybe run the clock out, but then they made the stop. Are you confident the run game is going to be resurgent this week?
Yeah, I'm always confident in our run game. I think we got a good group of linemen up front, and then we got a good room of backs, and just our tight ends and receivers are also always blocking their tails off. So I feel good anytime that we hand the ball off.
Arizona State's been a pretty aggressive defense there. Overall, just a couple quick dates early into the week, but what have you been able to see from that defense on tape? Obviously 5-1, have a lot of momentum right now. What have you been able to see from that defense early on?
Yeah, obviously they're well coached, and those guys are out there playing hard, and they're 5-1 like you said, so they're finding ways to win games. So obviously they're really talented, and we just got to find a way to put points on the board and give ourselves a chance at the end of the day to win the game.
Do you have discomfort with your left thumb on certain plays? It looked like you did a couple of offhand handoffs in the game.
Yeah, I just kind of practice it like that, especially just with the little bit of an injury that I had. I just kind of worked it. And so, once we got into the game, I just wanted to keep doing it like that, since I guess the running backs had seen that all week.
When you look at a defense, how much are you counting numbers? How much are you playing the numbers game? How many guys do they have in the box? Where are they loaded up on the line? And has that maybe been a part of teams loading up to stop you and just taking what they're given and maybe not leaning on the run game as much because they're trying to take it away?
Yeah, obviously if you're outnumbered in the box, it's probably not going to be a great run, so you got to go somewhere with it. So just finding a place that the defense is giving you grass to throw the ball to one of your guys. So, yeah, obviously if you're outnumbered in the box, you're probably going to spit it out somewhere and let that guy go do the work. So, yeah, you're definitely playing the numbers game.
If this team is going to contend for a Big 12 title, Saturday's game is huge in a lot of different ways. How much do you get up for a game like this? How much do you enjoy a game like this, especially at home?
Yeah, this is what it's all about. Obviously, this past weekend was massive for us, but we got to get back on track again and, continue to improve each week and, find ways to keep stacking these wins, because this is a very important game for us and our goals going forward. So, yeah, this is a big game.
Manny had a couple big touchdowns against Texas Tech. You found him again Saturday he had a nice catch. Is he starting to be somebody when you see him come in that you're like, hey, get it to him in space and he tends to make things happen?
It's always nice when you can check it down for a 5-yard catch and then he runs a long ways for you. It makes it look nice on your stat sheet when you don't do much. But, yeah, he's definitely come a long way just since I've been here especially, and obviously he's a guy that we're trying to get more touches.